I want to just hit on a couple of points. I knew that we were going to have a lot of salespeople or people that work in the element of sales. Raise your hand if you're in some capacity of sales. I thought, okay, there you go. So what I want to point out, in a study done by, I think it was Selling Magazine, they had 5 major corporations study average salespeople and high-performing salespeople. And what they found in this study that there were 2 things that set the average salespeople apart from the high-performing. And this was not a study on emotional intelligence. This is just a study on high-performing salespeople. They said high-performing versus average have very high amounts of optimism and resilience when it comes to setbacks. Kind of have some setbacks in sales? Absolutely. In fact, the more setbacks you have, probably the more sales you have, right? Sales 101. And number 2 is they have the ability to connect with their clients and connect with their peers. So when you look at the 11 core competencies of emotional intelligence, which one do you think? Well, optimism is an obvious one, right? So optimism is an EI trait, and that's what they're saying sets a good salesperson apart from an average one. What else on here might have to do with optimism and resilience out of the 11 core competencies? Adaptable and flexible, right? You have to be able to take a different route, have to do new things in order to reach your goals, reach your quota, reach your budget. What else might fall under the optimism and resilience category?
Personal drive.
Personal drive. How does that relate?
Well, you have to have a lot of personal drive.
Right. Right. So personal drive means that you are a person who sets goals and sets high benchmarks for yourself and then does whatever you need to do to reach it. So that's the resilience part. When you have strong personal drive, it doesn't matter what's happening. You're still driving for results. You're still driving for the goal. What about the ability to connect with clients and peers? What are the traits of emotional intelligence that might matter there? Communication, empathy, authenticity, self-awareness, right? If I'm aware of how I'm feeling today, then I can manage that so I can connect better with my client. You want to do one more fun little exercise before we get into the brain science? Oh, by the way, so the next slide, we're not going to do this now, but I encourage you by the end of the day, before you go to bed, I want you to think about the 3 competencies that you're going to work on to improve, to be more emotionally intelligent. I want you to think about people in your work, in your life, who might be models and mentors for that characteristic. And then I want you to start noticing the specific behaviors that people do, because it shows up in our face, it shows up in our words, it shows up in our gestures, it shows up in our eyes and our ears and how we're listening. So really start to notice what people are doing, small, minute behaviors and actions that make them a model and mentor so that you can start noticing that and practicing that.